Hi everyone, this is Vijay Pandey, and today we are going to talk about the Cisco DUO dual factor authentication. So let's talk about that. What is the Cisco DUO? I hope you guys already are you using some of the dual factor authentication. For example, Google authentication or Microsoft authentication. There are various other vendors which provide the dual factor authentication for your organization for your day-to-day login uh, uh, activities, right? So what is a DUO? So DUO is a dual factor authentication solution that help your organization to boost your security for the user identity and establishing the device trust and providing the secure connectivity to your company network or to the applications. For example, you are trying to access 360 application, right? For example, your Outlook or your Teams or, for example, any VPN solution, right? So nowadays it's very common to use the dual factor authentication. So this is a Cisco dual factor authentication. So what does uh, uh, Duo security do? So Duo put your organization on the fast track for the zero trust model. Okay. When I say the zero trust model, it also prevents you for the phishing attack, malware attack, credential thefts, remote access, BYOD. So these are the some major things which Cisco Duo provides. And if we talk about that, what all the solutions it can integrate with the Duo, Cisco Duo. So we having here some of the of areas where Duo can work. For example, web authentication, Duo can work with various applications. And second is VPN authentication. For example, if you're using the Cisco AnyConnect or Juniper, any vendor, you name it, all the most of the world vendors are available under this. So if you are trying to use the dual factor authentication, this is the one of the solution which you can consider for that. Even for the SAML 2.0, Google Apps, Amazon, and the Salesforce, Microsoft 365, Box, and if there is any uh, Linux-based devices, these are some devices which also has capability for the dual factor authentication. There is a option cloud services also. So these are the some services can be integrated with the Geo. Then Microsoft environment. So, for example, you are trying to use Microsoft Office 365, right? Outlook. These are the some uh, product if you're trying to use. You can use the Cisco Duo rather than using the Cisco or Microsoft authentication, right? So there are some other proprietary APIs which you can use. For example, Ruby, Ansible. These are the some APIs which can be integrated with the Cisco Dual solution. Okay, so if I show the flow of the this particular solution is, so flow is very simple. You just let me what we are going to discuss here. We are going to discuss here some scenario. For example, admin navigation, sign up process, protecting user, removing users, application options. So this particular section going to be the basic how we're going to set up and what and how do Cisco Duo look like. Okay, so if I draw one flow, how it authenticate usually. So let me open. So if you see that the authentication flow usually we follow for different organization for different method. So let me show that one of the example where you can see that Cisco Duo, how the authentication works, how it authenticate with the users. So this is Cisco.com website. So if you see that, yeah. So when you first time log in to the any environment, you directly land on the your application server. Then application server redirect to the proxy. So your proxy will be integrated with the radius, TechX, Active Directory. Based on that, then this Active Directory and the radius servers will redirect you for the dual authentication. If you have configured that, if you do not have that dual factor authentication, then by default, any application won't asking that dual factor authentication. Okay, these are the some ports which use for the dual factor authentication in the Cisco. Okay, so let me draw that for the cloud, So cloud is also going to be the almost same. You can see that Cisco from the Cisco Duo official sites, what all the flow will be for the cloud, what will be the flow for the Active Directory, what will be the flow for the your VPN, what will be the flow for the any connect. So let me give you example for one of the common example which we use in Cisco Any Connect. Okay, the this is the Any Connect. Yeah, this is the common use for the DUO authentication. So you integrate with the Cisco ICE, this DUO authentication, and with the application proxies, which will be suppose if any user want to access the FTD or a VPN want to log in, any connect using any connector, for example, anything like Citrix or anything, you will be directly landing on the firewall, then firewall redirect for the authentication to the ICE. In this case, you can select the any vendor. Then ICE will redirect to the application proxy. Then application proxy will redirect to the Active Directory in a radius server or TechX server. Then will redirect to the dual factor authentication. So in this particular case, if you have the like user base or password based authentication, you have to select that accordingly. So let me show that lab, which is the purpose of this session is to show you that lab, how we can set up that Cisco dual factor authentication. So I have lab here. Okay, so let me read. This is the official site. I going to okay. So let me go that activate that. When I try to activate that, it creates the one by default one, my log using my login ID and the organization role. Then if I say that get started, so it's asking me to create the account. So let me put that, for example, Cisco 123, 123. Okay, this is the one step. It must be 12 digit. So 123. Cisco 123. If I say continue, then it will ask you for the now add your second factor here. So from the duo from your mobile, you can just scan that this particular barcode, and you can download in your left in your mobile for the dual factor authentication. So for example, if I go to the let's say skip for now. So this will give you the option, okay, to download your mobile. So I'm going to scan this from my mobile. The moment I scan this, it will automatically redirect to the my dual Cisco Duo applications. If you do not have Cisco Duo application, please do download the Cisco Duo application before scanning this. Okay, so let me download first Cisco Duo application. You can download from Play Store. You can download from the any tools. Okay, it's around it is available for the iOS and the Windows as well as for the Android. If you do not have, Android or something, you can skip that. Then you can authenticate using the uh, username, password, or mobile number. Okay. So wait for a second. I'm going to download. Okay. So I have my Duo now. So let me use the code. Scan this. Okay. So the moment I see that, spin timeout. Save this. Okay. So there is. Let me reconnect this. Okay. Done. I do not want to use my mobile number for now, so I will skip this. Then you will say that your Duo authentication is logged in now. Okay. Meanwhile, you have to uh, accept that multiple options or multiple checklists in the mobile application. The moment you will have to set up this, you just have to continue this. So I will put my password Cisco 23. I think okay. So once you confirm the identity, there is a multiple options available. You push the notification, push the mobile passport. So I will just push the notification. The moment you will push that, in mobile, you will get a notification saying that approve or deny. So I will say approve for the verification. The moment you will approve from your application, your mobile, you will land on the page of the Cisco Duo certification. Okay, so this is the main menu for the dual authentication. So you will see that a lot of options are available here. Okay, so for example, this is the dashboard. If I go to the dashboard, you will see that welcome page for this, and you will have the multiple updates which are you can see from here. If you have for example, in your organization, if you have employees, so how many employees are authenticating and what all the how many devices are attached to the dual factor authentication, and all these things you can see from the here dashboard. Okay, how many users are inactive, how many users are from how many users has been changed in last 7 days. So all the endpoints, user details you can see from the here. This is the global dashboard for your organization dual authentication. Okay. So if you want to check anything related to the, for example, application. Okay. Sorry. In the application, if I go to click application, you will see that a lot of options will be here. So if I go to the protect and applications, you will see here. They're saying that password, documentation, all these are the knowledge-based documents. So before configuring anything, Cisco suggests that you must read the documents. For example, you want to read about or you want to configure the AWS services, right? You just go to the document, it will give you all the steps as well as it will give you all the details of this particular feature. Okay. So if I go to the admin panel here, okay, what all the options come here? This is a scenario one. So there are multiple scenario which are available. I will go to the admin panel now. Then I will go to the protecting applications. Then I will go to the application options, removing application. These are all the options I'm going to get here. Okay, so if I go to the admin panel now, so this is the admin panel. Okay, in the admin panel, you will get all the sort of details here. Okay, you will get the dashboard. You get the device inside where you will integrate all the mobiles, laptop, all this, whatever is available in you currently in your organization. How many users are activated, how many failed, how many screen lock, everything you're gonna see from centralized page here. Okay, this is powerful. I would say the powerful than the Microsoft authentication. Okay, so if you see the policies here, you're gonna create all the policies. If you want to restrict it or enable or disable any policy, you can modify from here. Then you will have the user here. In the user, you can add and remove some user, you can import some users, you can have all the kind of flexibility from user. Then if you have the groups any available, you can add remove groups from here. Okay, if you have any endpoint details, so this is the feature which you can enable or disable something for the your endpoint. For example, you do not want any firewall to be integrated, right? You can simply just disable that particular feature. For example, here a firewall. Where is firewall? Filter trust. I think there should be. If not there, for example, trusted endpoint. You want to disable it or enable it. You want to allow it or disallow it. You want to filter any browser type. You can see all the you can set all the default feature for the any users. Okay. For example, if you want to enable the dual factor authentication for particular device or with the set of uh, features, you can do from here. Okay. This is the one of the things. So if I go to the option number 2, this is just you can log in and you can go through one by one what exactly is trust security, what is the reports, all the authentication reports. Suppose, for example, you are unable to authenticate or anyone is unable to authenticate, you can get all the logs related to the users, related to the device, all things from here. Okay. So second topic is protecting the applications. So how you protect your application, right? For example, if you want to enable the single sign-on means same password you're going to use for all the your organization, just like Active Directory stuff. So if I go to the application and protect your application, so if you see here, you want to set up a protection, you can do that. If you want to, these are some applications. Okay, you can just discuss here. You can just read the. You can read these all these details. So, for example, if I go to the Cisco SSL VPN, if you want to authenticate with any VPN, okay, there are multiple VPNs are available. So if I filter it, Cisco, I want to do dual authentication for Cisco authentication, Cisco VPN, right? There are multiple VPNs are available. WebLogin, your Defender, Defense VPN, and a lot of other options are available, right? Radius, Secure Dashboard, the other are also available. If we want to add the VPN, for example, Radius, right? I want to add, for example, Cisco ASA SSL. I would say that Cisco ASA. I want to go to the configuration. The moment I see the configuration, I have read this, activate and start this. Then custom subdomains, you have to put here all the details. So if you want to, all the details, you have to make sure you should have the key and all the things from here. Otherwise, without that, it won't be possible to do that. So custom subdomain, for example, I want to use cisco.com, cisco.com. Okay, and let's save this or just skip this. So you want to add the Active Directory, you want to use HTML for a user redirection for this VPN, you can definitely do from your app. Since this is the lab, I do not have the actual VPN to authenticate, I cannot do that. Okay. Then application options, if I go to the application options, so there are a policy which are available. So let me, if I go to the policies here, in the policy, you will get that multiple options, self-service portal you will have, you will have individual application self portal. From here, you're going to set all the kind of global and application and group level policy for any users and applications, right? For example, you want to restrict that any kind of location. For example, you have 4 branches. You want to restrict this particular dual services for particular location. You can do that. All the user coming from that particular sites or from particular location, geolocation, will be denied in that case. Okay, this we call that PCI policies. Okay, yeah. So it's again this is totally to control your user authentication stuff. Okay, you want to edit it or enable it, you can definitely do that. For example, if you want to add, edit, or application policy, just apply all the user. So I will say that create new policy. In the create new policy, what you want that you want that new user should be dual factor authentication. Okay, should be allowed. Then I will say that authentication policy should be bypass or enforce the two factor authentication. I want all the users to authenticate, and for the country, which country look up for the host IP address. So I can say that I want United States. Okay, then I will say allow access without two-factor or request required two-factor authentication. So definitely you can select that which particular location required what. Okay, then I will create the policy. I will say the policy name is Cisco test. Okay, this is for particular group. If any, suppose you have organization, right? In your organization, there are multiple groups, like for example, financial group, web group, or database group, there are some DevOps team, or there are some management team. Based on teams, you can create or customize your application policies. However, there are global policies also. If you want to edit anything globally, you can apply for each and every policy for all the user, irrespective of location, irrespective of any devices. Okay. If I go to the self-service portal, so self-service portal let the user add and update and remove the authentication of the devices. Self portal options for the web some SSL. So if I go to the self portal, okay, if I go to use authentication, apply. Okay, this is again to customize your portal for all the VPNs enrollment. This is a manual work which you can do that. You can create the new policy rather than using the policy which are already used. You can create your customized policy in for individual application to control that all the traffics. Okay, and this is all is about the Cisco dual authentication. Okay, and in the next session, for example, second is protecting the user. Which I miss this one. So protecting the user. So if you want to protect any user, so you have to go here. State users. In the users, there are multiple options are available. Okay, so you can add the users, you can remove the user, you can import users. Saying you can synchronize with the Active Directory for all the users. So which is the always best options. So rather than allowing that all the user manually, you can just simply say that I'm going to add it as Azure AD, or either can be your manual AD, or can be your the open LDAP for that. Okay, so either you can add the user also. For example, I want to use Vijay. This user must be allowed, right? Full name, all the details. So this is a bit complicated, right? So either you want to authenticate or bypass or disable in this user. You can modify user based on your requirement. However, that's something is I don't believe that this many organization do that. Bulk enrollment is always best option. You can create a bunch of users and always keep importing those users in that. The best option which I can think of, like synchronizing with the Active Directory, will be always best options. Or if you want to bypass code, you can definitely also attach to. And this is all about the Cisco dual authentication. And if you want to sign up uh, for the dual account, Cisco dual account, you can definitely do from the Cisco. This is the account. This is the website. This is a web tab. Okay. So you can always go to the signup.duo.com. You can use this particular application for free for your organization, or for your day-to-day testing. If you are really interested of getting this Cisco Duo. Then after the submitting this, you can go to the Play Store, you can download this app, and you can start your verification or uh, kind of a trial for your organization. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next section where we are going to discuss the advanced version of this dual, where we are going to do some sort of practical in the lab. Thank you so much.